All right, here we go. You should be able to hear me. Let me know down in chat if the volume is okay. It's been a while since I've had a chance to stream, so well, here we go. We should jump into Unity. Okay, we got that going. Well, there's already people watching. Damn, you get in here fast. Want to welcome to the stream. We're going to continue on with our little roguelike project that we were working on. There we go. Just checking, making sure everything is good. All right. So in the last one, just a second. So in the last video we did, we went ahead and we got the heat map working for our level. Good. Good to hear. Thanks, One Ring and Christopher Butler. All right. So in the last video, we went ahead and got the heat map working. This is a few weeks ago. I've been gone for a week and a half on a road trip, for those that don't know. So it's been a while since I've actually looked at this code and even looked at I'm looking at the notes that I had written down. And yeah, one thing I take away from these notes is I got to get better at leaving notes for live streams. But anyway, so we got this heat map working where basically when we go ahead and click to generate the room, I've just upgraded this project to Unity 5.6 as well. It looks like I have to play around with some of the alpha. But anyway, when I click generate rooms, it goes ahead and generates all my rooms. It's doing the heat map where rooms overlap. And I've got in my notes, the next thing I wanted to go ahead and play around with was whether to, let me stop this. Well, actually, we don't need to stop. We can just look at it. I have one list of all the rooms, and inside of those rooms, I can store what cells are in these rooms. And right now, every cell is 1 by 1. And if we zoom in and we just take a look, like this red cell, there's actually a bunch of red cells here. There's actually 9 of them. Here's a green one. Anyway, so all these cells, should they be inside of a room list, or should I have the cells individually keep track of the rooms that they actually belong to? Now, I know originally when I was looking at the code, actually, let me stop this. Originally, when I was looking at the code, I wanted to go ahead and in the rooms themselves be able to have sort of like traps or events or something like that where they step on a certain square, the whole room would flood. And that's why I was going to put it here, but I know that's something I want to work on later on down the road. And I'm not really sure if that's the right way I want to do it for now. I could go ahead and use that room ID that we're playing around with here. And just keep that in a cell, since a cell can never belong to more than one room. The problem is with that is every time I want to go ahead and grab a room or all the cells in a room, I have to iterate through all the cells. And depending on how big you have your level size set up to be, it can be a lot. How often am I going to have to do it? And I don't want to store them in both, because then you just end up with a duplicate of, you end up with all the cells being relisted in all the rooms and all the rooms being relisted in all the cells. It would make it easier to iterate through that, though, because I could say, oh, this cell here. So we could say, oh, if you step on this cell, this is where my trap is. Go ahead and get the room ID for this cell and whatever room it is. And then it turns around, and when it grabs that room ID, like I said, I can either iterate through the whole list, grabbing all of the rooms, which is slow, or I could grab the room ID, and then inside of that room ID have all the rooms stored in a list there, which is faster, but takes more memory. And then go ahead and like flood the room or make it dark or whatever. I know I am going to need to be able to activate. Actually, I just thought of it. When you actually cast like a light spell, I want to light the whole room up. So yes, I am going to need a way to be able to get every cell inside of a room, if he's in a room. See, I had a week and a half to think about this, but on a road trip, didn't think anything of it. So I am actually going to need to keep the cells. And then we keep a list of the cells in the room. And then when I go ahead and start adding traps on particular cells, maybe then keep a room ID. It's not that bad. I think I like that method better. It's going to make things easier in the long run. And it's not that much more RAM that we're going to be using. All we're going to do is keep a reference to a room ID on each cell. And I do need to know, yeah. All right. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to create a list. Right there. So a serialized field. And it's going to be a room. And it's not what it's called. It's a cell. It's going to be an array. Oh, no. So I'm going to make a list. Sorry. It's been a while. All right. So I've got a list of cells. So I've got all the bounds. I'm just trying to think if I know there's some code in here I do want to move around eventually. For instance, generate level. I've been looking at this code for a little bit here. Where we go ahead and iterate through all of the rooms inside of this when we create the room. That should actually be inside the room here. I'll move it later. Hang on just a sec. Excuse me. But I'm gonna go ahead and put it there. Yeah. It's just I didn't want to have to create another list of all the cells that that the room needs if I didn't need it, but it's not that much more RAM I'm going to be using, and I am going to need to be able to quickly access all of the cells, and I don't want to iterate through them all. So this is probably a better idea. So we'll go ahead and make that. Then for now, the way we have the code, I don't want to move too much stuff around. I'm just going to go and do a void add cell. And of course, I'm going to be adding a cell, which I'll call cell. And all we got to do is just do cell.add. And make sure you have the right parenthesis. There we go. And let's make this public. And when we're iterating through all the cells, I think this is probably the best spot to do it. When we're iterating through all the cells, we're going to go ahead and add them here. And I'm going to go ahead and put the parentheses in here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and color code it and then add it. Doesn't really matter. The color coding is only for debugging in the editor. Excuse me as well. Hang on. So, ow, just whacked my knee. Oh. Anyway, the color coding is only for the editor, the actual visual. Later on, we'll be getting rid of that, but that's fine. For now, we're going to leave it there. So we just added this room. So we're going to create the room. We go through, we go ahead, we add this room. May not want to add it just yet. Yeah, so room dot add cell or add. Did I really just call it add? I couldn't have done that. Public void add cell. What am I doing wrong? What is rooms? So rooms is just a room. It's in the right namespace. I'm gonna have to read through this. What am I doing wrong? Oh, rooms is the list, duh. Temp is the room, duh. All right, and the cell I want, so I'm going through and I'm going here. That's the position. Do I have an extra line here? I do have the scale. I don't want to calculate this twice. And it's an integer, so int, do I want it to be an int? Yes, it has to be an int. Int x is equal to, I do have an x, damn it. Plus x. Oh, x is up here. Duh. There we go. So that should add them all in. Did I make this serializable? I did not. Let's go ahead. We'll make this serializable. Make sure it's above there. I don't have any references to this. So that's the X and Y position. I have a vector 2 position. I don't need these anymore. So I'm just going to go. I don't think I need them anymore. I'm going to go ahead and comment them out for now. I think I was originally going to go ahead and just use int X and Y, but I went ahead and switched it over to a vector 2. Okay. Well, welcome to the stream. Okay, so we got this. I'm actually going to move this. I should put some code in here to make sure that I can't get outside of the bounds, but not what I'm working on right now. So let's go ahead. We're going to jump back into Unity. No errors. We'll start it up. We'll generate some rooms. We got a null reference. What did I do wrong? So I'm being passed in this cell as a null. Hmm. It should be okay. What do we got here? Let's go ahead and take a look at a room. Okay, let's comment out the add part. I have to take a look, see what I'm screwing up. Okay, so these are the rooms. I'm adding them to the list. And here are all the cells in there. So cell size 0. Let's see what I am being passed in. Debug dot. And we'll go in, no rooms. We'll go ahead, regenerate. Boom, the first room it airs. The cells we're getting are still 0. So I'm being passed in a cell. Let's go ahead and rename it. I could add a toString method here to overload the other one. That's what I'll do. And I forgot the return type. I'm going to return pos.x plus. Let's do it right. Let's just string format. It's just going to be called the lot. And then we'll just do hyphen. All right. Oh, it's position. Duh. Okay, so now we'll go ahead. Hi, Felix. Right now, it's a roguelike game. I have to fix that. It's bothering me. But just going ahead and getting the rooms to get a reference to all of the cells they're creating. So I am getting a cell. What am I doing wrong? I know it's been a few weeks since I've touched C#, but I create a list. Do the exact same thing over here. Yeah, just that. Is it my list that I'm having trouble with? I know it's something simple I'm missing too. That's fine. We'll hunt it down. So yeah, it's my cell. My list.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey, there we go. Can't even pronounce that, so we'll just call you Shattuck. Welcome to the channel. That's my first alert on YouTube. Going ahead and hooking a few different things up because I want to start streaming all my game stuff over on YouTube. For the most part. So something wrong with my cell. I have it set up right. Right? Ah! I can't. This is supposed to be a small C. I can't go ahead and use a capital C because the class name is the capital. And when I'm trying to add, I'm trying to grab a class and add it to, but that's not, I need a reference. I need an actual instance to add it to. Oh, but then I can't call it that. I'm going to call this cells. Always like I'm plural. And this will be cells.count. There we go. I told you it was something simple. So quick question. How many people out there have actually used Unreal Engine a bit? I'm thinking of actually every month creating a small game in Unity and then also recreating it in other engines as well, just to kind of show what the comparison is, what the difference is. Let's go ahead. We'll test this out. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. So there we go. Now it's adding them, I think. Nope. Still getting an all reference. What did I do wrong now? Did I forget to save it? Arr. I saved it. I've got a list. The list is of type cell. I'm calling it cells. Down here, I just want to get the count. And then add to it. Not understanding what's going wrong. It's still going to error, but why is it not adding it? Why am I having trouble accessing my list? What am I doing wrong? Let me quick look at this. So you've been playing around with the Unreal Engine since it went to subscription. I didn't know it had a subscription. I thought it was just straight up free, and then they 5% of your profits. Actually, not of your profits or sales. I shouldn't need the new cells. I go ahead and add it. When you're using it as a serialized field, you shouldn't need it. Like similar like to here. Oh. I'll take a look at that. It's probably what it is, but let me catch up on chat. Yeah, Unreal Engine is C++. If you're hang on just a sec. If you're just starting to get comfortable with C#, you'll find that the it's almost the exact same. I haven't done enough with Unreal Engine to know how deep it goes down as far as memory management goes, but I definitely want to check it out. Okay, so with the subscription, do you still have to give them a percentage of your sales? Let me go ahead and fix this up first, and then I'll take a look. Uh, I think got to put it in constructor. Has it really been that long since I've used C#? Isn't that funny how if you put double semicolons, you get an error in one? Uh-oh, am I crashing? So adding to the list. What are we doing here? I didn't save. Okay. Oh, so they only take it's all your fault. I didn't change anything in the editor anyway. I'm just gonna give it a bit because I think it just might be caught in a loop. But anyway, so they only take a percentage if you make a certain amount. I thought they just took a percentage off the top regardless of how much you made. But anyway, I'm sure we've all seen this before, right? Oh, we'll just have to restart it. Come on. I should check to be sure the music's not going through. So how is everyone doing today anyway, while this reloads? And I'm actually going to quickly fix this one sprite. Okay, we just got to switch the alpha. Okay. When I upgraded to Unity 5.6, it did this to me. Hmm. I think I'm gonna actually have to look this up. It changed it to black, and they're not supposed to be black. And one more thing to look up. Anyway, I want to get this done. So let's go ahead. We'll comment out the actual adding. Now I remember why I was writing that note. Rooms are going to be combined when they're so you got one room and it has all these cells. When it adds another room on top, if they share the same cell, I want them to combine. That's what it was. But for now, we got to get them to go ahead and store a list of the cells they're in. Yeah, so just create adding up at the top crashes. Okay, we'll have to fix that. And let me go and update my documentation so I understand exactly what I was doing. I might need to keep this over here for a bit. Might need that again. Yeah, I'm still a little under the weather. A 2 week road trip or a week and a half road trip. I was already sick going into it, and that's not the best way to heal. That's fine. So it's this line up here. Uh, well, see, that's how, you don't need to do it for if it's in the inspector. Unless I'm completely remembering something wrong. For here, I did it because it's an array. And arrays, you do have to specify. Well, you don't have to. I'm not adding them, changing them in the inspector. Yeah, that's fine. Just a sec. Gotta fast forward this song. Okay. Well, here. So why am I not able to access this? Now it's crashing again. Dude, what did I do? Uh-oh. All right. I don't understand why this isn't working, to be quite honest. I'm going to comment all that out and we'll see what happens. Okay. And I actually want to move this down here after the for loop. And I'm thinking maybe that's the problem. Nah. Anyway, I want to go ahead. We'll just comment it all out. Don't need to do anything there. Okay, let's go ahead. We'll start it up. Oh, hit it twice. Okay, so we got it working there. We'll start off by enabling this. So we got cells. The only time cells are used in here. Okay, that works. So let's go into generate, and now we'll go ahead. We'll enable this. Save it off. Go ahead, hit play. Cross fingers. And crash when it calls it. And all it's doing is debugging out, right? So it's going ahead and taking that temp room that we created, which is passed in the ID. So it's passing that in. And of course, I can't get back in. Great. Hi, Captain Cyberspace. I'm using, for the code editor, it's Code. Visual Studio Code. So we'll quit Unity again. I still know your name from, I'm not sure what you mean, DX Studio. Doesn't sound familiar. You sure you're remembering the right guy? So I'm going to comment out this line. It's passing in a cell. Am I screwing something up with the name? There's no bounds for the actual cell. I'm passing it in here. For the passing, it really doesn't matter. This gives it its position. And I know these calculations work because all it is just move them, and I don't want to do it again. Eventually, I could just go ahead and call this function from inside of here, but the next thing I want to do is go ahead and comment this out. Temp, which is the room. I'm going to go ahead and add a cell, which takes a cell. I'm going to go into the cell array. Ah! My problem is I'm going ahead and, yeah, this here is out of it. This should just be X and Y. Because cell is just an array, which we create. Remember, I said it's been a while since I looked at this. We create it up here. Excuse me. And then we go ahead and set it here. My bad. All right, we'll save that off. I want to come in here. All right, everyone got their fingers crossed? Let me take a look here. Captain, you got your fingers crossed? Tom, I'm watching you. Come on. I might have been someone with a similar name. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll hit play. Generate room. It works. I'm pretty sure that's probably what it was. So let's go ahead. We'll uncomment one line at a time. Generate room. No. Yeah, it crashed. All right. Close it down. Start it back up. Take a look at the code while it's doing that. What am I doing wrong? Let's go ahead and debug it out. Before I go ahead and add it. And this was cells. And we'll need to go ahead and get the X. See, Tom, you should have had it crossed. Ah, helps put them inside of the square brackets too. Okay, generate rooms. This is my overloaded to string method. There it goes now. It just crashed. Did I screw up my overloaded to string method? I shouldn't have closed down the cell one. Come on. This should be faster. Well, nothing more. This video will be a great debugging exercise. And we're going to go back into move smaller cell over here. We're not going to add it. We're just going to debug out. Okay. Everyone got their fingers crossed? It's crashing. What's going on? This is my first run with Unity 5.6, and while it has been a few weeks, I don't think I've forgotten that much. So let's go ahead. We'll comment the debug line out. Oh, wait a minute. No, I got to keep those in there. I can't use XY. That puts it out of balance. We need these because that's the positioning. Let me just go through this again. So I go ahead, create my new cells. I go through, I take a look at the size. I go ahead and iterate through them, create new cells. I'm passing in a position. I'm passing in a vector 2. So I'm passing in a vector 2, which just passes it in as the actual vector 2. So all I'm doing is if I have 100 by 100 going through, okay, I'm positioning them that way. Then I go through and I'm going to create rooms equal to the number of rooms. And I go ahead and call the function create rooms, which will go down here and create the room. But before I look at that, I want to see what it does after that. So I go through for each size and I calculate the heat map for each individual cell. Yeah, so I'm going to go through each and every individual cell. And based on its heat, go ahead and all I'm doing is just overlaying a sprite with a different color on it. Yeah, I'm instantiating a sprite, putting it on top, hence the -1. I go ahead, change the color, and I change the name. Okay, so create room. I'm going to go ahead and set my X and Y scale to be a random range between the room min width, room max width. And okay, so we go into rooms, we go up to the top, min width, max width. Should actually have them as vector 3 or vector 2s. I'll play around with that later. I could easily condense these 4 values into 2 vectors, but anyway, I'm not worried about that right now. And then I go ahead, create a new position. So I go ahead and take a random range between the level inset. And I remember that. Okay, so we're going ahead, we're picking a random spot. This is where the room is going to be. And I say the size is going to be equal to the X scale and Y scale, which is exposed in the editor. No, it wasn't. It was up here. Go in, we'll set that up. Everything's on 1. I go ahead, set my bounds up with the position and the size. I go ahead, create my temporary room, which is passed in an ID from going through the XYs. I go ahead and assign the bounds. I go ahead and instantiate that gray sprite. I make sure the gray sprite is the size of the room that I want. And I go ahead and child it. Okay. All that's fine. So now I'm going to go through Y and X. So I'm starting at the bottom, going across, going up to the next row, going across, going up to the next row. That's what those 2 for loops do. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab each cell. And call overlap. And all that does is increase the heat counter. Okay. So these are individual cells from the room. Oh, you're all still there? Have a drink of water. So I'm not keeping the cells anywhere. I'm storing them. Okay. So I'm going ahead and grabbing the position here. I don't understand what's crashing it. Zoom out. Generate. Okay, that worked. I didn't change anything, did I? Save. Okay, now all I'm going to do is debug out its position. And it crashed. Oh! Well, it hasn't crashed yet. But there we go. It was only a matter of time. Position is public, right? Yeah, it has to be. I wouldn't be able to access it. Let me get Unity started up in the background here. I guess technically in here we could just do that, and that'll give me X and Y automatically for me formatted. But before I do, I want to go ahead. Okay, so I've commented that line back out. Let's see if it still crashes me. No, okay, it works. Fool. I have to access the actual cell. Keep forgetting that I can't just grab it from the X and Y because that's going to be equal to whatever iteration it's on. I actually have to grab it with the offsets on it. Ah! I hate you. What am I doing wrong? Start it back up. We'll just debug out just nothing, just a cell. Well, here, let's also go in and be able to assign an ID to it. Oh, cell isn't a mono behavior. I'll take a look at that. I think that might actually be the problem. But anyway, I want to go ahead and have a ID here. So int excuse me. So I set the room ID by default to be equal to -1, meaning that it doesn't actually have an ID. And then in here, I'll do the exact same thing. If it has not been assigned, that way there I know if I ever get a room ID of -1, for some reason this cell is not in a room. And I could go ahead and make another one that passes it in, but for now I'm just going to go ahead and make a separate method for it. But one has to be public. It's an int. Stop. Return room ID. Why'd I capitalize it up here? Screwing everything up today. Maybe today wasn't a good day to code. And then set. Okay, I'm going to generate levels. Room ID is equal to ID. Let's see if we can get our cells to have an ID. Okay, zoom out a bit, cross your fingers, and that means you too, Timmy. I know you're out there. Come on, I clicked it. There we go. So let's go ahead, we'll grab a cell. Oh, cells don't show up in here because they don't have they're not mono behavior. So let me go ahead, take a look here. We'll comment this one. We'll just uncomment it. Let's go ahead and we'll see what it's like. No, I can't click. Oh, it's on pause, duh. So I clicked and it locks up. One debug statement locks it up. And I think it might be because of how many rooms I'm spotting. Remember, debug takes a long time to actually do. I wonder if that's been my problem the whole time. I'll kick myself. That was it. I'm going to go ahead and make a smaller level. Come on, where's Unity? Boom, 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 boom. Actually, let's stop it. Let's save this off my project so it saves all the values. Then we'll go ahead and hit play or generate. Okay, so we got a much smaller dungeon. I saved. That's what it was. Ah! I forget what I said. 800 rooms. What was the level size? 256. So it was just generating thousands of rooms. And like I said before, debug takes a long time. So it was in the background, just churning out all the debug statements before it could print them. So I may have to figure out a different way to debug it. Well, I'm going to have to if I want to keep it like this. Nope. Boom, 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 boom. Zoom out a bit. There we go. Oh my God, all that time, and it's because debug is just really a slow operation. Ah. Well, it's not too bad because remember those debug statements aren't in the final build. I can't believe. Oh, wait, no, because I still have the null reference, right? Let's go ahead and actually keep these commented out. So I'm going to call in. I'm passing in that cell. I want to make sure I'll go ahead and debug out that information. Okay. Generate room. Boom. So it goes from 31 to 32 to 33 to 34 to 35, 36. Then it goes 31, 32. Okay. Excuse me. So we got that. We still have to figure out why I'm getting a null reference. By the way, for those that aren't on the Discord server, I guess we'll start next month. I want to go ahead and start getting some small collaborations going, maybe 2 to 4 people, kind of like a little code jam, but not a weekend type thing. Excuse me. Small groups, like I said, 2 to 4 people. We'll have like a monthly theme. Everyone gets together with their little group, goes off, makes something, and then just shows it off at the end of the month what they've got done. No prizes or anything like that. Maybe we can try to get some prizes set together, but it's more, I just want to get more collaboration going in the community, as well as just working on projects that we probably never would have worked on before. And again, let's keep the team really small, 2 to 4. So if you haven't actually gone over to the Discord server, if someone actually has a link for it, go ahead and throw that in chat. I think it'd be fun. Wow, I've been at this for an hour. Anyway, let me know. We were gonna do it this month, but there wasn't enough people today, so let's try to set it up for next month. Tell your friends. Yeah, the Discord server is live. Now, let me generate a link. I'll throw it in chat. There you go. Whoop. Crap. Oh, that sucked. How do I get back to my stream options? Well, hopefully you had your ad blocker on. My bad. Okay, got that set up. There we go. Good chance to get my cough out of the way. All right, sorry about that. I was clicking around and I actually clicked the play ad button. But anyway. So I don't remember what I was doing here. So I went ahead and re-enabled this. I'm coming down. I haven't done anything here yet. Oh, there's a bunch more people in Discord. Welcome to the Discord. I guess you can tell when I add that, right? Anyway. So I'm going to go ahead. Come on, Unity. Let's go ahead. We'll start it up. Generates all my little rooms for me. All right, let's go ahead and we'll see. Am I still getting a null reference? I am. Why? It's just to see our Unity 5.6 thing. Just taking a quick look here to see if anyone else is having problems with it. See, when it's displayed in the inspector, I've never had to do. I wonder if this is something that's changed in 5.6. I don't think so. Uh, let me check up. Uh, yeah, I'll even give it another example. I don't know why I would have to. Oh wait, is this a mono behavior? It's not a mono behavior. I'm so used to working with mono behaviors, I forgot. Like I said, it's been a while since I've looked at this code. And yeah, I do have to initialize it because it's not a mono behavior. And I probably can't initiate it there. I'm probably gonna have to move that. Yes, that was my problem the whole time. It wasn't a mono behavior. I see some new messages on Discord. I'll look at them later. Come on. There we go. And skip this song. Cross your fingers, and that means you too, Timmy. Everyone tell him. Woo! We're not adding to it yet. Excuse me. Forgot to move away from the mic. Sorry about that. I really need to get a mute button set up, because it's probably going to be a bit longer before I get better. So we're in room. Let's come down to add. Now we can finally add them. And I'm going to do the debug log after. There we go. Then if we come in and actually go and, whoops, look at my rooms. I have 12 cells. I want to go ahead and start renaming them. Give them a name so I just don't get crap like that showing up. And I need to serialize them better, or get the serialized field set up so we can get the drop downs. So what was the problem? Well, the problem was I was just so used to working with mono behaviors in Unity. I just assumed I had this as a mono behavior. And generate levels, if we come up and take a look, it is a mono behavior. When you're going ahead and setting things up that are going to be displayed in the inspector, you don't need to go ahead and say, like equals new list. But because these are not mono behaviors, I do need to specify exactly. That was my problem for the null references. Now for the for Unity timing out and crashing, that's because the debug logs. I'm actually going to keep that for now. The debug logs is just a really long process to go through. It slows your app down quite a bit, but it only runs in the inspector. Once you build it, those debug logs aren't there. But they're extremely slow, so you have to be careful with that. Let me see this. Get room ID returns room ID instead of room ID. Did I screw that up too? Yeah. There we go. All right. And I didn't even take any cough syrup today. Just water and a coffee. Okay. So now that we have all the rooms and we've got the cells, let's go ahead and serialize field some of these things. I'm actually just being real lazy. Always test with the small room, not your largest. So there we go. Now we have the cells. Then when we open up the cells, this particular cell is a heat 1. It tells me the exact position. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Every cell automatically gets a heat of 1. There is no heat 0. That's its position. And the room ID it's associated with, which is 0, which should equal to this. So now if we come down here to room 2 and look at his cells, we'll go ahead and open the first one up. And the room ID is equal to the element. Wait a minute, let's shrink this down. Yeah, right here. Element 2, room IDs 2. All right, we got it done. So cells reference their room, and the room contains all of its cells. So the next thing I want to do is go ahead is when they overlap, when I detect a room that overlaps, I want to go ahead and add all of the cells from that room to the first room. And if we go ahead, I'm going to take out the debugs so I can make a bigger room. I think it originally was 256 by, I think I was doing 800. I'm just going to leave the padding there. We'll save this off. Excuse me. Generate. There we go. Without the debugs, that's how long it is. So let's go ahead. We'll go down here. No problem. So let's go ahead. We'll take a look here. Like, let's say this room was generated first, and then this room is generated. So this room already goes ahead and it generates all of its cells. Let's actually do this one second. Then this one here, while it generates its cells, I got to keep track of if I have anything that overlaps, because after it's done, the first method would just be go ahead and say, okay, I overlap with this one here. Add all of my cells to this room. And then I also have to take note of if I overlap any other rooms. So let's say this room is generated first, this little right here, and forget about all the overlapping with that. So if this room is generated first, and then let's say this room here is generated, forget about this little tiny one. So we got these two rooms that are side by side, and then we generate a third room. It overlaps two rooms. So I have to take note of both overlapping. So I'll have to keep a list, I guess, of overlaps, of rooms that I overlap with. Go ahead. So I can tell like the heat of this cell is going to be referenced to a different room ID automatically. So I can say, okay, this is room 1, well, room 0, room 1, room 2. Let's do ABC. It'll be easier that way. So it's going to go, hey, look, I overlap with room A and B. So take all of my stuff, add it here, take all of the other stuff that was in there, add it here as well, and then delete these rooms. And that means I'll have to update all the IDs. And add everything there, right? So yeah, we'll get rid of a couple of rooms. So that's the logic behind it. How long have we been going? Almost an hour and a half. I'm going to save that maybe for the next one. I do want to get some of this set up, and I want to get some comments in the actual code, so I don't have to keep looking at a separate document. And maybe in the next one, I'll go ahead and clean this up. This is too big of a function. It does way too many things. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and create a method in here. And I'm just going to call it room overlap check. And let's just go ahead and I'm just going to put all the documentation inside of it. Check to see if this room overlaps with any other rooms. And if I do, I need to keep a list of them. So keep a list. Well, let's go ahead. Keep a list of the rooms that I overlap with. Now, as far as actually what rooms, like I said, in this situation here, I've already stopped it. I need a 3-room overlap. So right here, we'll say this room, A, B, and C. Well, A, B, and then C. So when this one comes in and overlaps this room, it doesn't really matter who he adds all the other rooms too. So if he adds it to here and then takes all these and adds it to here, and we use this room ID, it's not really going to matter because I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this room ID and this room ID. Then the next room that's generated, let's say this is the one that's generated, it will have some overlap with this room, which, these cells, which actually belong to this room down here. So it really doesn't matter as far as which one we add to. I'm not going to bother putting in, check for the lowest room ID number. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. So let's go ahead. Keep a list of the rooms that I overlap with. After all of the cells have been checked, and after all the cells have been updated, pick if there was at least one room that overlapped, add all of the. Now I like to think of it as if blocks. So if at least one room overlap, pick one of the. You can actually just take the new room. That'd probably be easier logically. Take the new room that you just created and go, hey, I overlap with these other rooms. Encompass whatever they have into me. That logically, it's going to be easier to do. Get all of the cells from the overlapping rooms and add them to this room. Delete the overlapping rooms once, added to this one. So just a quick check. That should make sense logically. Let me know if anyone else has a better idea. Oh, the pine tree. Yeah, I'm going to have more of those things coming up. I've got a bunch of videos for like other boards that I play around with. Like, I still play around with my C2 quite a bit. I like this board. We also have a bunch of Raspberry Pi, the new Raspberry Pi Zero Ws. I've gone ahead and made some like nanny cams with these. I still have a few left over. One's going to be a bird watcher for my wife. It's going to be just a remote camera so that we can set up, somewhere. I'm actually looking at being able to get video through RF instead of going through Wi-Fi. So I can go ahead and set this up in a bush somewhere that's it's probably about a half a mile away, and see if I can get a strong enough RF signal to actually transmit it back to our house. And that way there we can watch birds that just aren't in our yard. I think it'd be kind of cool. Of course, excuse me. It could end up being kind of creepy because, now you can go ahead and take something that's so super small, like it's literally the size of this, and stick it somewhere and get remote feed. But, honestly, the technology's out there. It's not hard to do. It's just a matter of if I can get a strong enough signal and how long will the battery last. How big of a battery pack am I going to need? So I will have to go ahead and figure that out. But that's about it. I've got all the parts for my son's new arcade table. I still haven't got around to finishing that. I was waiting for warmer weather. Then I got sick. Then we had the road trip. Now I'm catching up on stuff. I've got a bunch of HoloLens stuff we're doing in class this week. Actually, all this month we'll be doing a bunch of HoloLens stuff. There will be videos put up on it. I know not everyone has a HoloLens. They're like $3,000, but I need them for school. I do have a series on Scratch. So if you have a kid or just a younger brother, younger sister looking to get into game development, maybe they don't do a lot of coding or they have trouble with the logic, the Scratch series is going to be really good, especially if you have a Raspberry Pi, because there's an extra chapter at the end. The Raspberry Pi through Scratch allows you to access the GPIO pins. So that's actually kind of cool because you can actually start creating different interfaces for your application that's running on the Pi. But anyway, whole different thing. Yeah, electronic stuff. What else do we got here? 3D scanning would be good too. I don't have a 3D scanner. I have a 3D printer. We had a cheap 3D scanner, but it didn't really work that well. I haven't really looked at the new technologies out there for 3D scanners. There might be good ones that have come down in price. I know my desk is getting kind of old. I'm probably going to be replacing this desk soon, and I'm looking actually at... Well, let me go ahead. One of these, autonomous. I'll get the bigger one, the 72-inch one. If anyone has any idea about these, like, it's a motorized desk, goes up and down. I've watched a few reviews on it. I like what I've seen so far. I'm probably going to go ahead and get that. I've measured out 72 inches is pretty much all I need here. And I know I definitely want a sit-stand desk. We have a treadmill desk upstairs, and I use it, but I don't want to use it all. I don't want to be on the treadmill all the time. The treadmill is just awkward to stand on if you're not walking. So I think a nice sit-stand desk down here so I can raise and lower stuff. Then treadmill desk upstairs. Like I said, I do use it once in a while. A lot of it I'm just watching like Netflix or something like that. It's fine. But anyway. Let me see. Use a Pi to scan with. Translate those codes to Blender or others. Oh, you mean make a 3D scanner with a Raspberry Pi? Haven't looked at it. Anything like that. It might be doable. It's depending on how well I can actually go ahead and get the coordinates from the camera based on, what I'm scanning at. I've never actually tried anything like that. It might be fun. That's too long for scanning. I've never tried that. It might be fun, but we'll have to see. But let me quickly check the logic here one more time to make sure I'm not screwing anything up. So check to see if the room overlaps with any other rooms. Keep a list of the rooms that I overlap with. After all the cells have been updated, if there was at least one room that overlapped with me, get all the cells from the overlapping rooms and add them to this room. Delete the overlapping rooms once the cells are added to this one. There we go. And I also want to clean this up too. Well, let's go ahead and do some of this now. Man, this is scrolling. So I use Visual Studio Code on my laptop, and I've got it set the scrolling is at the speed I want. But on my desktop, it's much quicker. Now, I remember I didn't like editing this stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all that. I'll play around with it later. I'll just scroll slower for now. So level generation, when we come out here, should we do this now? I've already been going for an hour and a half. I told my wife I'd go grocery shopping with her. Let's go ahead and save this off here. I'm just going to make notes of it too. Like I said, I have a document over here that I keep my notes in, but I just like having the docs in the code for now. This method is too big. Take out. Break up into multiple functions. Or methods. We're in C#. It's a method. Anyway. So as far as maybe starting next month, we can go ahead and start playing around with Unreal Engine as well. Would you like that for to create really small projects in Unity and then also go ahead and create them in Unreal Engine as well so you can see the differences. Maybe later on we can start adding in other engines as well. I'm not very good with Unreal Engine. I've played around with it a few times here and there. The C++ I'll be fine with. I'll probably have to spend a week getting familiar with it again. And I'm sure there'll be lots of stuff that I do at the beginning that I'm doing wrong. But do you like that idea? Do you want to learn a little bit of Unreal Engine as well? See what the differences are? I don't consider either Unity or Unreal Engine one better than the other. It's just really a matter of what works better for you. I know a lot of the graphic stuff at the lower levels looks better on Unreal, but once you actually start getting into shader programming or just the higher level graphic stuff in Unity, you can actually make it look just as good, if not better. But like I said, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Who wants to see some Unreal Engine stuff on the channel? Actually, while I'm here, before I do that, Unreal Engine. Let's take a look. What's in the platforms, Ashley? What do they cover in platforms? Well, that's just it. Like, I wouldn't mind covering a little bit of Unreal. So it could be like Saturday, we do a small project in Unity. Then Sunday, we redo it in Unreal Engine. I think people should be exposed to both. I see so many people fighting and arguing about, oh, this one's better than that one and this. And they're both very capable. You really can't go wrong with either one. I guess it'd probably be what platforms are supported. Unreal Engine. So you got Windows, PlayStation, Xbox, Mac, iOS, Android, VR, including but not limited to Steam, Steam VR, HT Vive, Oculus, PlayStation VR. So I think that's pretty much. They don't have Google. The Daydream one looks like. Oh no, there's Daydream. OS VR and Samsung Gear. Okay, so I think they cover all of this, the VR ones. Excuse me. Linux, Steam OS, HTML5. You can run the Unreal editor on Windows. OX. So they have an editor for all three. So what are they missing? HoloLens? What is Samsung? Tizen? I'm not worried about Tizen if I'm using this particular platform. Xbox One, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch consoles. Oh, did it say Nintendo up here? It does not say Nintendo up here. So Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch console tools and code are available at no extra cost to developers who are registered developers for their respective platforms. But it says Xbox One and PlayStation 4. It didn't say Switch. But I miss it. I'm not. The day I've been having, I probably just missed it. Oh, wow. You get the entire source code? Anyway. I can read all this on my own. Let me just quickly check up here. Well, even in Unity, there's no additional cost for developing to consoles. You still have to get your console license. So you can't just, build an Xbox One game and, push it out. You still have to get approval from Microsoft. Let's see. So Unity I think still does cover all of the, more platforms. But they're corner case ones. Like, I've done a little bit with Tizen. Uh, I'm not going to miss it if I switch over and do a couple things here. What other ones? I don't know how good their HTML5 stuff is. I think it might be fun. So you can commit changes back to. That's kind of cool. It's basically open source. Oh, here we go. How much do I have to pay for Unreal Engine 4? So it's free to use with the 5% royalty gross product. 5% royalty on gross product revenue after the first 3,000 per game per quarter for commercial products. So it's a bit more. So 12,000. Well, if you're making 3,000 per quarter per game, ugh, it's just so much easier with Unity. $1,500. I got everything. Well, it's 75 a month now. Actually, that should be starting up for me this month. Next month, 75 a month, something like that. Anyway, so 3,000 per game per quarter. So I'll go ahead and read this on my own unless there's something specific someone wants to know about it or has something about it. If you actually are familiar with Unreal Engine and you want to talk to me about it, go ahead and send me a message on Discord. Or no, don't send me one on YouTube. I get tons of them on YouTube. And so many of them are just crap, like spam. Hey, come join my my network, or come check out my game and spend some money on Kickstarter for me. Nah. Anyway, so if you have used it, go ahead onto the Discord server. Send me a message there. It's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. I actually check those ones. Yeah. If you get approved by Microsoft, then I don't think it really matters what if you use Unity or Unreal. I've only done console stuff with Unity, not Unreal. So that's something I'd have to go ahead and play around with. But it might be fun, right? I still think it would be cool just to be able to compare them. I know I'm going to be doing it behind the scenes. I was just wondering if you guys actually want to see a video of it. Just quickly catching up on chat. I'm going to be logging out soon because we do got to get some groceries. We just got back from yesterday from our road trip, so we actually got to buy some groceries. Okay. I've got that done. Thank you for the new subscriber. Unfortunately, I forget what your name was already. Excuse me. Wait, I can look that. Oh, wait, I couldn't pronounce it. I remember now. Shattuck. That's what it was. And it looks like just before we started up, Arturo Jamaica subscribed. So,
Oh, yeah.
there we go, Arturo. Thank you for the follow. Or subscription, sorry. But anyway, that's going to be it for this one. If anyone has any questions or anything else, go ahead. And, well, actually, now that I end the live stream, I lose all of this live chat. So when it goes ahead and publishes the video, I can't see any of that. Again, the best way is probably in Discord or wait for the video to go live. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. And let's try to get another one of these done maybe this week. If not, maybe on the weekend. Thanks for coming out, everyone. Bye-bye.